Welcome to Taste Buds. I'm Debra Eckerling, goal strategist, writer, and foodie. And today I'm speaking with Sam Goldberg, a host of Respect the Chain. Welcome, Sam.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. I get to talk about food today. How are you doing?
I love talking about food. I'm very excited. Food is always amazing to me. You can't go wrong when you're talking about food.
I agree. It's something else I found that even people who say they don't like food or they don't cook, they have opinions.
Oh,
So it doesn't
absolutely.
matter who you are or what your take is, even not having a take on food is having a take on food.
And these opinions are always very strong, very strong. Whether it's Moe's versus Chipotle, ketchup versus mustard, everybody's got an opinion and everybody's educated enough to discuss it.
And absolutely. So for you, is it ketchup or is it mustard?
Oh, of course, it's got to be ketchup. Always ketchup. I'm one of those, I put ketchup on my rice. I put ketchup on my eggs, put ketchup on everything.
Is that a New York thing?
I don't know. I don't think so because I get made fun of a lot in New York City for doing what I do with ketchup. So I don't think it's a New York thing. If anything, I know a lot of snobs that can't believe I want ketchup when we go out to dinners, when I get a steak, if I order this, if I order that. I always want ketchup. I like having that ketchup next to me. It's almost like a security blanket. I need it there. I need it on the table at all times.
It's your security condiment.
Exactly. I like that security condiment. That's what it is.
So what is Respect the Chain and how did you get started with that?
Sure. So Respect the Chain is a food show. And I initially started doing this actually about 5 years ago exactly. It was during the pandemic. I'm actually an attorney by day, and all the courts were shut down. And I always wanted to host a food show. So during the pandemic, I had really had nothing to do. And I said, you know what? Let me give this a try. So I started going to restaurants and ordering food and filming in my car. And as I was doing it and as restaurants started to open up, I was getting into the kitchen. I was preparing dishes with the chef. And it was a lot of fun. I loved it. I loved trying new menu items. And initially during the pandemic, there was all these amazing deals that these restaurants were offering because they really wanted foot traffic. They wanted people to come in and take food home with them to enjoy it. A lot of people were cooking. They were getting tired of cooking. So I said, this is the perfect opportunity to advertise some of these amazing deals to the people at home that maybe want a night off from cooking. And that's how the show theoretically started. And now it's 5 years later. And it's definitely been a lot of fun. I love doing it. It's great to meet all the different people at the restaurants. It's great to try the new foods. It's really a lot of fun.
I've had several former attorneys turned chef on the show. I think you're the first one who is actually still an attorney who has food as part of what they do. So how do you like balance that? Are you like bold people all the time or is it just this
You
clear
know what? It's
division?
when I am in court, there is no fun foods. You don't get fun food, Sam, when I'm in the courthouse. You got lawyers say, courts. But no, it's really a nice balance because when you're doing law, it's extremely serious, and I do real estate law. A lot of landlord tenant law, so I represent tenants and I try to stop evictions. So it's two completely separate entity. But it's a very nice balance because obviously Respect the Chain is fun. It's upbeat. You're sharing passions. You're showing what chefs love, what they created. And when I'm in court, I'm trying to save somebody's apartment. So it's very different.
I I think you speak in understatements. Well, and as I said in the intro, so I'm also a goal strategist. I write books on goal setting. And one thing that I frequently say is, you've got to do the things that bring you joy. And but it sounds like you love both of the things that you do.
Oh yeah, no, I love them both. Like I don't want to give either one up. I'm happy to do it both. I have a nice, well balanced here. So it's almost like lawyer by day, foodie by night. I film a lot of my I film a lot of my content on the weekends, or I film a lot of the content after work at like tonight at 8 o'clock. I have an event to go to that I'm going to film. So if you like something and you really want to do it, you got to fit it in.
It's great that you're able to have that balance, but also to find satisfaction from both issues. You're like the dream. I have a job that I love and I've got a side hustle that I really love. So
Exactly. No, it's nice. It's very fun. And again, it's what's great is I'm in New York City, so there's constantly new restaurants opening up, and there's always something going on. So it's definitely a great place to be if you want to create content. Is New York City? I mean, it really is the melting pot for everything.
What is it about food? Where did that love of food come from for you?
I was growing up, I watched Adam Richman on Man vs. Food. That was like the first food show everybody loved. If you don't know Adam Richman, he hosted a show actually on the Travel Channel, and he would do these mega challenges where you would watch him eat this astronomical amount of food in the third segment. And it was a travel food show, so he would travel from state to state. And I remember watching him, and then when I would travel, I would want to try the restaurants that he would do these challenges at and see what they were like in real life. So I always found that very interesting. And for me personally, I grew up loving chain restaurants. I love going to a chain. I like knowing what I'm going to get. I like knowing if I'm in Hawaii and I go to the Cheesecake Factory, it's going to taste the same as it does in New York. So my friends would always make fun of me. They would never want to go to a chain restaurant. They'd say, "Oh, come on, Sam, we can do better than that." But my opinion was, if it's a chain restaurant, that means it's good because that's how it became a chain. If it wasn't a good restaurant, how could it be a chain? That's it.
Right.
That was my argument. So I always said to them, why don't you respect the chain? Where's the respect for the chain? So then I said to myself, that's a good idea for a show. Respect the chain. And all we really do is go to chain restaurants. Since I first started, it's evolved a little bit. It's not only chain restaurants. But again, my passion was chain restaurants. And I wanted people to see the hard work that goes into it. The menus are astronomical. There's so many different menu items, and the chefs really work hard. So even though it's a chain, it's still high quality ingredients, high quality food that people enjoy, and they deserve your respect. And that's how it happened.
Do you have a favorite chain?
My two top favorites are Cheesecake Factory and Panda Express. Those are the ones I like, definitely. Panda Express is good when you're on the go. If I'm traveling, that orange chicken, you can't do much better than an orange chicken. And then Cheesecake Factory is just a place that nostalgia and chain restaurants go hand in hand. Cheesecake Factory was the one I would always go to, like when I was in high school, when I was in college, we would go there. And then another one that I always remember that I still go to this day is Planet Hollywood. Growing up, I would always get their Captain Crunch chicken fingers. And I actually, for my bachelor party, I actually went to Orlando and I made everybody go to Planet Hollywood with me. And we all ordered the Captain Crunch chicken fingers.
Is there a chain on your bucket list that you want to do that you haven't gone to yet?
I mean, I love when I read about the international menu items at different restaurants. I went to Tokyo and I was in China, but it was before I started doing Respect the Chain. But there's so many different chains I want to go to just because their menu items are so different. They've got such unique things. Even like if you take McDonald's, for example, like even their Happy Meals are different from ours. They have different toys that they feature. Spain, for example, they did the adult Happy Meal with Friends, and they created Friends action figures during the summertime. So I always think it's fun to see what the international menu items are when you travel abroad, whether it's, even I was in Dubai and we actually filmed, which not to mention Cheesecake Factory again, but we filmed with them in Dubai and you can't eat pork in Dubai. So all of their pork, if you order a burger, it's not real bacon, it's beef bacon. If you order prosciutto, it's not pork, it's beef prosciutto. So to me, that's a lot of fun. Is just seeing all the differences within the menu items when you travel to different countries.
Got it. So it's the exploration factor of it is the heart of what intrigues you.
Exactly. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, now if you go on TikTok, so many people, the first thing they want to do is run to a McDonald's, run to a KFC, and just go through the entire menu and try the different things. And ironically enough, the menu items outside of America always seem better. Always like, why do they get that and we don't? So yeah, so I think that's a lot of fun to just feature the different things that are offered world around the world.
So, how much do you think your Jewishness and your upbringing factored into your love of food?
I mean, I think that if you speak to me or you see my show, it's pretty obvious I'm a Jewish New Yorker. Pretty obvious. In New York, I mean, obviously Katz's Deli. Everybody goes to Katz's. One of the places I probably go to once every 2 weeks at least is Junior's. Um, so I mean, it definitely influences me. During the holidays, I always try to do Jewish episodes, because I feel as if I got to represent. If I've got a platform, I'm going to make sure everybody sees some Jewish content. Because I remember when I was a kid, I would always be like, "Hey, where's all the Jewish stuff?" And I think we had the Adam Sandler song, we had that one Rugrats episode for Passover, but I mean that was pretty much it. So I always said if I was doing anything within entertainment, within social media, I would always want to make sure that I did Judaism within the show during the holidays. Um, I was in Boca for Passover, and I just stumbled into this kosher market, and they made kosher for Passover pizza. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is going to be a great episode. So that was a lot of fun. So again, I look for like interesting, fun, unique things that coincide with the popular Jewish holidays. So yeah, I would definitely say I try to bring Judaism into it when I can.
Do you remember your earliest Jewish food memory from growing up?
My earliest Jewish food memory. I remember, I mean, I don't know if this doesn't count as a Jewish food, but I do remember Yom Kippur being young. My sister and I, we were only allowed to eat soup, and we would have cream of mushroom soup. So I associate cream of mushroom soup with Yom Kippur.
Oh, that was like the
It
the
was like, listen, you guys could eat. You're not 13. You don't have to fast, but you don't have to feast. So I remember my mom would always make us cream of mushroom soup on Yom Kippur before we were like 13 years old. So that's my first association, I would say. Whenever I think of that, I think of Yom Kippur.
I kind of love the fact that it's a food memory that has to do with the day you're not supposed to eat.
Exactly. I got to
Do
keep
you,
you on your toes. I got to keep you on the toes.
so it's Taste Buds with Deb is food cooking community because that's what my bite-sized conversations are all about. And there really is an intersection between the three because I mean, especially as Jews, food,
Absolutely.
cooking, it is a community experience, which is what you're doing by going into these restaurants and then enjoying the food.
I agree. I agree. I was at a Jewish style restaurant called Botek. And I went to Jewish day school, and I remember in the vending machines, they always had bamba. And I haven't seen bamba in a very long time. And when I was at the restaurant, I sat at the bar and I saw instead of peanuts, they were serving bamba. And I was there with my wife, and like she also had a bamba story. So there's something about these Jewish foods that we grow up with that even though we ate it at separate times, everybody's got some memory behind it. And it's something that you get to share with one another. So yeah, I feel as if Jews all around when it comes to food, even if you've never met before, that is the thing that brings you closer together.
I love that you have a shared but different food memory with your wife around Bamba. That's hilarious. But that's I guess how we do things, right? So what is your ultimate favorite Jewish food?
My ultimate favorite Jewish food. I mean, look, it's going to sound pretty basic. I don't want to be a basic guy, but of course, I'm going to say matzo ball soup. I'm going to say the pancake, the latkes. And, I don't know if this qualifies as a Jewish food, but it kind of does. Obviously, the Reuben sandwich. There's nothing like a good Reuben. Nothing like a good Reuben. I mean, when
It,
I go to Katz's, you get that pastrami Reuben on top. I don't think it's kosher, but whoa, is that delicious? That is good.
I was going to ask if you were team corned beef or team pastrami, and you answered team pastrami.
Always pastrami. Always. What about you?
Good. I'm team corned beef
All right, you know what? That means more pastrami for me. So
and more corned beef for me. And we can be friends about
yeah,
this.
that's I like this.
And I have to ask you the bagel question.
Sure.
What is your go-to bagel and what do you put on it?
I like Essa Bagel in New York, and again, I say Essa Bagel just because that's what I ate when I was a kid. th- I would say if I'm craving a bagel, it's very a raisin bagel, cream cheese, nice and easy. I don't do anything crazy, and it's got to be toasted.
Got it. So I'm getting this theme here
Yeah,
that you like what you like and you enjoy sharing what you like with others.
that's why I'm a good lawyer. I know what to do. Let me handle it for you. I got you. I got you. I do the same thing. I know, I understand. Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I like the chain restaurants because you have a taste. You get to get that taste wherever you go. I'm a creature of habit, a creature of habit.
And you found a way to make food art out of your creature of habitness.
Exactly, exactly. And again, a lot of people haven't seen, it's fun to see my creature of habit. I make it very entertaining. And the goal is to get them over here to enjoy my creature of habit.
There you go. Do you cook as well?
Yeah, I mean, once in a while I make burgers, I'll make steak. I would definitely not call myself a chef. In some of the episodes, I try to cook with the chefs, but you know what? I learned leave it to the professionals. Let me observe. I try to pick up a few things here and there, but I'm a better eater than I am a food preparer.
Do you have a go-to recipe that you want to share? Because I love to include that in the article that goes with each episode.
Of course. So, I mean, recently, what's funny is, so I just got married, by the way, in January. Um,
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much. And my wife and I just went to Disney for the weekend, and we like discovered the movie Ratatouille. And it's about a chef it's about a rat chef. I don't know if you've seen the movie before, but it's about a rat that becomes a chef, and he makes this restaurant in Paris extremely popular. But while we were there, learned all about ratatouille, and then my mom says to me, I make ratatouille. I have a ratatouille recipe. So then, for this past Passover, she actually made ratatouille for everybody, and it was really good. That was my first time having ratatouille. It's kind of like a healthier eggplant parmesan in a way. But I do have my mom's recipe. I don't know it verbatim, but I can tell you there was zucchini on there. There was eggplant. I believe she cooked it with an olive oil, salt, pepper, and she threw on some cheese on top, which is really good. There's a lot more ingredients that go into it. I just don't know it off the top of my head. But I could definitely send you the ingredients after if you want to put in the article.
Awesome. And if you go to jewishjournal.com/podcast, you can get the recipe and read the article that goes with each episode. Before we wrap, I want to know what sort of advice you have for people eating at restaurants, because it sounds to be like your superpower.
Oh, that's a good question. When I go into a restaurant, I try to be as nice as possible to everybody. If it's not the waiter's fault, if the chef makes a mistake and the food takes a little longer, I mean, it's a restaurant, it's busy. I always say my father taught this to me. He said, when you sit down at a restaurant, every single person that was here before you has to eat first. And I think that's the greatest thing to remember when you go into a restaurant.
Be patient and be respectful.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
what
And wait your turn.
and do you have any tips for ordering?
Any tips for ordering? I mean, I always ask the staff if I'm like in between two different items. I always say, which one do you recommend? Because they're there every day. They probably eat all the different menu items. So I always trust their opinions.
One thing that I always think is fun is when you say, "What do you think of this?" And then you watch their face, and
Yes.
then you see if their answer matches
Oh,
their face.
yeah. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
wait, no.
I'll get the other one. I'll get the other one. I was once at a restaurant and they said, "Who's cooking today? Is that who's is it Jimmy that's cooking?" And then out of it, they said, "Yeah, Jim." They're like, "Don't get that one. Get something else. You don't want him making that for you."
No.
So they even know, like they know the chefs that are cooking that day. They've got the inside info.
Got it. And you've got the inside info on the inside info. Um, Sam, do you have any final food for thought?
I just think just thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time and sharing this love of the simple pleasures of our chain restaurants and sharing that enthusiasm. Where can people learn more about you and your show, and where can they watch it?
Oh, sure. So we are on every social media platform at Respect the Chain, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're there. And we post all of our episodes on every single platform. So yeah, definitely give us a follow, give us some views, and reach out if you like our episodes.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Sam Goldberg, for joining me today. Thank you for tuning in to Taste Buds with Deb. Don't miss an episode. You can subscribe on YouTube or iTunes and or your favorite podcast platform. And if you go to jewishjournal.com/podcast, you can read the article, get the recipe, get that ratatouille. It sounds
Yeah.
anything that sounds delicious and healthy, I think is a good thing, right?
Exactly. It doesn't taste healthy. Doesn't taste healthy.
Even better. You can also learn more at tastebudswithdeb.com. Until next time, respect the change and bon appetit.